Hello everyone, my name is Ken Sato. Today I want to talk about economics. I was just walking outside and just came back, so still cold. So I'm still wearing this outside clothes in my house. Um, so yesterday I was I was making I made video about economics. I was talking in Japanese and somebody asked me to make a small version in English. So I don't know I can do well or not, but let me try. Um, so the title of video was, well, the macroeconomics is tool or toy of the politicians. Well, the point that I want to I wanted to make was, you know, economics, originally just study of human society, and then economists never think they should interfere to them, right? And just studied as is how it works, right? It's like you become objective researcher of monkey or insects, right? And you just try to see what they do as a society, as species, right? So to me, economics should be that way. Um, when I led human action, which wrote by the Mises, it's great libertarian economist. He was talking about this. I didn't read this paper version. I just listened audiobook because it takes a long time. If it takes a long time for me to read the English book. If that Japanese much faster, but still, I don't know. I want to read 1,000-page book, and it's very expensive in Japanese. It's only few copies on Amazon, but it's cost like I don't know, more than $100 to buy it. Maybe more, much more. I don't know. But anyway, so something he was talking about in his book is that economics should be like that, right? There's a criticism in the economics is the it's not like scientific. I mean, really difficult to do scientific experiment. It's not like natural science, like biology or chemical uh, um, chemistry. Sorry, um, um, or like physics. Uh, the way they decide what is fact or not is, you can do repeated experiment with control group, right? So you make theory. This is basically guess. You guess like, oh, this should work this way. Then you set up the experiment according to your theory, and then you just change the one parameter. Then you do experiment many times, and you will see the result. And then if the experiment suggests that your theory is correct, then many people consider that is scientific fact, right? So the criticism from like real academic people, like from this scientific academic side, natural science side, is that social science, like economics, are not real science. And then, in a way too, because, you can't really do the experiment on the economies, right? It's not easy to do it. But something Mises is saying, it doesn't mean if you cannot do a repeated experiment, doesn't mean with control group, doesn't mean economics, studying some subject is, observing the behavior of pattern from what's happened is not, doesn't have a value. It has value, right? Like, so economics should be like, observing things. Like, you study animals or insects. What first things you do is, you are just observing, keep observing what they do, right? Without interfering, right? Because you want to see how the species works without human interactions or intervention, right? Then, so that's why, like, these scientists, go to jungle or something, and then, they hide in in a wood and trying to observe what, say monkey is doing or insect is doing, right? So I think in a way the economists, early economists like Adam Smith and stuff like that, is actually took that kind of approach in a way, right? They just trying to be objective, not trying to interfere to the economy or anything, and trying to just observe what people do, right? What people do for business. How do they make money, right? How to live, how to create wealth. So the observation was like, their main focus, and then they observe it and they theorize it and they simplify it and try to understand what kind of like a rule or a law, is natural law exists there, or how the human society as a species works, right? That was the main focus. So something like Adam Smith realized human become very wealthier through trade, right? One people specialize one things, another things specialize for other things. Division of labor. So this kind of idea is coming from observation, right? So, but the tradition, changed. I think, especially after Keynes Keynesian become popular. The Keynes was grew up very rich noble family in British, and this guy's in my knowledge he never really worked in like real world in a way. He didn't do business. He didn't have a family of businessmen or workers, anything like that. He he was born in as a government. I guess I don't know what noble does, but they have a lot of money and power, I guess. So he grew up, and then their position is high up, so he has a lot of connection to become, I think, financial minister or something, right? So his idea is, or a government can help economies when we get like financial crisis like that. The idea is it's very it's good for people who has power, right? Because people who has power want to believe that they always help people, right? They have power, they can take a lot of money from people, right? That is why, but they want to justify what they can, what their action is helping people, right? That's like, to me, like that's myth. But hey, if you have a lot of power, they want to believe what they do by, and they want to justify their justification. I mean, the existence, right? So basically, I think to me, the Keynes just gave justification for the politician to do whatever they want to do. So of course they, after that, people start, politicians start doing all sort of so-called experiment on the economy. So, big one is, like a famous one is like a New Deal in United States, right? The FDR, Roosevelt did big, public works, I mean, actually, Hoover did too, but they almost did almost became like socialistic in a way. They did a lot of public work programs and employment programs and stuff like that. One movie I saw is I forgot the name of it, but this program, and then the government make opera or Broadway show or something as a public work program, stuff like that. But that was really funny. But anyway, then if the problem with this experiment is this is not socialistic. I mean, sorry, the scientific experiment, right? Because they have no control group, and we can't do repeated experiment anyway. You can't divide country to two, and just one side just do one thing, the other side don't do, or something like that. It's very difficult to do. And even they do, if that that area connected, and economy is global and interconnected. So don't really. It's very difficult to calculate or measure the result anyway. So it's not scientific experiments. They just try things, right? So we don't know, generally, many people still believe that Keynes economics works, and New Deal will help us get out from Great Depression. But something we don't know is what's happened if we didn't do that, right? Because it's not we don't have a control group, right? So it's a valid argument that if we didn't do it, maybe we could quickly wipe out very bad company or unproductive financial institution, make them go bankrupt, and maybe economy could recover much quicker, right? We don't know. We only have historical record, right? What's happened before Keynes, what's happened for crisis and stuff. So a lot of Austria economics studied that kind of crisis before governments start involving it. And actually they found out that a lot of crises can be recovered very quickly if they don't intervene. And that hypothesis is something I believe, but it's also theory too. But Keynesian is also theory. I mean, the theory government can help society is just theory too. So it's not scientific. But see, but the problem is many people just believe that's a fact, right? That's a problem. It's science has natural science and social science fact is more vague. We can only study as just history, right? I mean, as always, if you studying history, we just see one side, and if you see from other side, you can really see completely different opinion about the historical events. So this is same kind of things. So something economics can tell is that kind of historical argument. If you see like whole economy, you can't really see like very vague facts, I guess. It's like North Korea versus South Korea, something like that, right? I mean, same kind of people, started from same kind of level of income, technology, but somehow one side is runs socialistic economy, other side, trying to do more like capitalism society. And what's happened after 50 years? Of course, capitalism society much better, right? In a way, okay. I mean, that kind of vague, very vague, right? I mean, or like, what's happened in China, like, they used to be socialistic country. After they start allowing, private properties or farmer to start, own or manage their own space to grow the plants, then they start producing much more, and eventually that brings China become much wealthier country. Start from there, right? So, but people still can argue it, right? Oh, government still did a lot of things and stuff like that. So it's very difficult to talk. I mean, decide what is the fact is or not. But we can only see general tendency, right? But I think economists should go back to more like, original their trend. Like, so the reason why I was talking about this because I met, my friends who visiting U.S. He's an economist from Japan, but he studied microeconomics, not macro. Yeah, microeconomics is more like original, right? Economics, because they, it's like they study, hey, what's going to happen? Say Uber changes the price, or they have a data for small things like that. Or like my friend is studying like how the bias of nationality on the like a job website, right? Like there's a like Upwork kind type of like a gig website, and if the nationality how affect that to get the job or something like that, right? That has real evidence, and they can experiment on the platform if they want to. So it's much better, and that's more like start from observation, and that would be much better for the society than we give power to the government to experiment on our society to see that's going to work or not. But we did a lot of experiment 20th century, right? Socialism, like Soviet Union is a huge experiment. North Korea is a huge experiment. Cuba was, right? China was. Even like United States and Japan, they did social democracies, right? And we should just observe that just see the realities, but still not clear to many people. But if you really start observing what's exactly happening in the ghetto of the United States, right? How badly this welfare system works for them, right? How like a minimum wage works for them badly, like that kind of things. So I think, economists should go back to the roots, and hopefully 21st century we're gonna see less experiments by government to make things better, I guess. Well, that's my point. All right, talk to you later. Bye bye.